you?
There we go.
Where are you both in the US? Yeah, I guess.
Yes, New Jersey.
New Jersey. Ah, okay.
Yeah, not the most fun place, but
Yeah.
Is it pretty heavy there with the lockdown at the moment?
Oh, it is. Yeah. How are you guys?
Yeah, it's not too bad here. We're still in lockdown, but the cops are not too heavy. You know, I mean, I drove along to Villamora, which is along the coast, and you know, they say we're supposed to be locked down in our own municipalities, but nobody stopped us. So we
That's
just
good.
carry on doing as we are, and everything's fine. But so they sort of lay the law down, but they don't tend to enforce it because it's quite laid back.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hit or miss here, whether they want to enforce it or not.
Is it? Yeah, it's a shame, and it's
Yeah,
funny times. Funny
it
times.
is.
Yeah.
Which is more the better for your meditations.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
And your amazing Instagram page.
That thing kind of blew up. I started that page, Glenn, because I was home for 9 months recovering from Lyme disease. And I was just so bored.
Wow.
And people were like, my friends were getting annoyed with me posting spiritual stuff. So I'm like, fine, I'll just start another page. So I started
Right.
that page, not thinking people would follow because I use it like Pinterest, you know? And
Yeah.
it just started growing. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So, but my original idea 5 years ago was basically to have this happen when I reached out to you the first time, and
Yeah.
it ended up happening. It just all took place, you know, fell into place.
It's funny, isn't it? Sometimes the best things you do are organic. Not something you try to do. You don't force it. It just happens. And
and people are always like, how'd you grow your page? I'm like, honestly, it was just meant to be, you know, like it was just something that happened.
Yeah. I've had things like that, and you just look back and you think, wow, you know, what happened there? But it was just right time, right place, and boom.
And it materialized. Yeah.
And I think, you know, with your part, I was thinking about it before I came on here, and I'd followed a number of other similar pages, but over time I deleted them. You got fed up with seeing the same ones. But I think with your page, there's an authenticity about the posts. There's something that resonates, and that was before I knew that you liked my stuff. You know, so yeah, I sort of deleted all those other ones, and I'd only followed you, and then I saw you post one of my things. I thought, oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I've always been a fan.
Yeah, amazing.
And I got to get that impersonation to you from my brother. He said he's working on it.
I want to see it.
Yeah, I can't wait to get it to you.
Is it my meditation voice?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. I'd love to see that.
Oh, where'd you go?
So are we recording now, or should we? Oh,
I am recording. I'm trying to find you guys because I just lost you. Where'd you go?
I wonder if we could do probably a split screen would be better, so we're all on it, would it? Because I think at the moment it's switching between one of us and then the other.
Sure. What had happened? I just lost you guys. Oh, there you are. Oh, where'd you go? Okay, come on. There you are. Okay. So how do I do split screen?
Go on the side, Katie. You'll see it. It says switch to all speakers or switch to active speaker.
What side?
When you just click.
Speaker.
Yeah, you see that? And then it should say switch to all speakers. Or something along those lines.
Speaker view, gallery view.
Gallery view.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
Okay. We're all on there. Okay. I guess, so what do you want to do, Glenn? Do you want me to like kind of give people a background, or you give a background of you and how you got into this, and then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we can just chat, can't we, and see what comes up.
Sure.
Make it very casual.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Because we have some questions for you.
Yeah, we're still on, is it split screen for you, Jessica?
I see all of you guys, both of you.
I can see you at the top, but I'm just thinking when people, when people watch it, would they want to see one or all of us, do you think?
Probably all of us, right?
Yeah.
I have it on three people I see at once here. Man,
Can you, on the main screen? Oh, well, so
that what I'm
maybe it's
on?
just on mine then. If you're recording at your end, that'll be cool because I'm just seeing whoever's speaking,
Oh, I'm
that's
sorry.
fine. No, that's
Uh,
fine. If it's working for you, that's all that matters, really.
it is. I have all three of you right in front of me.
Oh, well, that's good then.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
Sorry, it's annoying for you.
No, that's fine. No, that
Okay.
works.
All right. So when did you start this, Glenn?
So when did I start? It was back in the day when I was, not sure what I wanted to do. I was kind of a gigging musician back in my 20s. I was playing in pubs and bars. And one day we worked with a stage hypnotist. And I was watching him do his thing, where he was hypnotizing the audience and making people do outrageous things. And I had this epiphany that I wanted to learn hypnosis. But I wanted to learn it for therapeutic ends, not to do the entertainment thing. I didn't want people dancing around like chickens and
Making them
making love
bark.
to broomsticks. Yeah, making them bark. I didn't see a lot of value in that other than, the entertainment on the night. So from there, I learned hypnotherapy. I did a 2-year diploma with the British School of Clinical Hypnosis, and I loved it. And then I started to work on myself a lot. I realized that, a lot of the childhood programming and failure programming that I had, I could change it. And
Yeah.
so, as I was learning hypnotherapy, I was working on myself, getting clearer, opening up spiritually, awakening and, getting into the law of attraction and things like that. And it all kind of snowballed. And, then I started working with clients and, getting good results. And that was kind of it. I never looked back from there. So it was a great journey, and it has been, still is now.
That's great. And I forgot to introduce us. So this is Glenn Harrold, the world's most famous and wonderful, is it hypnosis?
Hypnotherapist. Yeah.
Hypnotherapist. Yes.
Yeah.
He's my fave. This is Jessica, actually. Jessica does our astrology charts. And I'm Katie. I do the Reiki for our page. Everything aligns. So there we go with those introductions.
And Everything Aligns is like a massive page on Instagram, isn't it? Well, how many followers have you got now?
I think I'm up to 735,000. Yeah, I checked that this morning.
and you said before we came on, you said you just got the page going organically. There was no marketing plan or anything like that.
Done. And what's interesting is people ask me all the time, how do they grow their page? And I don't have anything to say. I'm just like, I guess you just have to believe in it, that's all I can say.
Yeah. And it's putting out something of value, isn't it? It's putting out something that's authentic and, resonates with you initially. And it's the same with my recordings. When I first started making them, I had no idea I'd end up selling millions of them.
Right?
It was just a feeling that I wanted to make really good recordings. I wanted to make recordings that were safe first and foremost, but then I wanted them to connect with people. And that was just that simple intention. I had no marketing skills or anything like that. Initially I used to drive around to local stores and I'd deliver them into these stores on a little homemade stand that I'd made.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like a little wooden thing I'd made in the garden. And I'm not a DIY person at all. So it was like really bodged. And I put it into stores and they used to sell even back then. I'd drive around to the shops a few weeks later and collect £5 for each one that had sold.
Oh, wow.
And then I went to the bank, but this was like 20 odd years ago. I went to the bank and I borrowed £1,000 to get some nice new display stands made. And I was still paying that loan back, that monthly loan back, by the time I had like 5 people working for me. And it was like, $1 million business.
Wow. Wow.
And it was all organic, like you said with your page, it was totally, nothing was planned. I just did what I thought I felt, and
that's what it is. I felt. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's that simple. I think, if I just read the Alchemist again, I read it properly recently, and
that's a great book.
And it's a great book, isn't it? And the metaphor in that is that if you're, out there pursuing your dreams and from an authentic place, the universe works with you. It conspires with you. And these opportunities come along easily. They just open up. You don't have to work at it.
It's almost like it feels like magic. Like it just literally is in your hand, like opens up, you know? So everything is just vibrationally coming to you. That's a match.
It's a vibrational frequency, isn't it?
Yep.
You know,
Yeah,
if
definitely.
you're aligned with that, then
Hmm.
it just works. You align with other things of the same frequency. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's why we're talking now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, it's been a really good journey. And just think now more than ever, you have to be, you know, working your truth, don't you? Being authentic in what you do.
Yeah.
And whatever your, you know, your gift to the world is,
Yeah.
you kind of have to go inside and connect with that, you know, that creativity within you. And you find it that way. That's the way to get it. It's not by thinking about it or analyzing it or,
Right. Or trying to
you know,
make it happen. It just unfolds. It just happens. Yeah.
yeah, exactly
Yeah.
that.
I
Exactly.
before I started this page, I was actually everybody tries to find their place in life, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I was in the fitness industry before, and I had a studio out in San Diego I owned, but then when I moved back home, I got into law enforcement because I'm like, let's see, all right, I can do this because I just wanted a paycheck, you know, like something. So I
Yeah.
devoted all these years to it, and then ended up it not working out with getting into the position officially. I was just auxiliary. And when
Mm.
when it started to unravel, like towards the end, when I knew it wasn't going to work out, I was just, when I finally got the call, I was like, thank God, because I knew I was supposed to do this. I wasn't supposed to be in that field. I was supposed to be where my gut and everything was telling me to be. I just didn't know how to get there. So
Yeah.
when that happened, I was like, perfect. Now I get to pursue what I really know I need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, you started through posting spiritual memes to friends.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, so that's an authentic start, isn't it? Because you were
Yeah.
feeling it. You wanted them to
Yeah.
get the message. And
Yes.
then
What you're
bang,
feeling.
you put it on Instagram and it blows up, you know,
Yeah.
because it's come from that authentic place.
Well, yeah,
It's
I think so
amazing.
too.
Yeah.
You know,
It's amazing.
there's a couple pages that I kind of recently unfollowed because you can tell like for me, I don't know if I'm overthinking this, but some of these memes just look like they're created and made without love. And that's
Yeah.
what I feel. And if I don't feel
Yeah.
the love from them, I can't repose. Like it's like a feeling you got to it's got to gravitate, you know, because you can
Yeah.
make these beautiful memes, but there's something behind them where it says you're computer generated or something, you know, that I'm
Yeah.
not attracted to.
Yeah. It's a bot or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm done with these
Yeah.
bots.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Or you get the ones on Instagram where you get these lovely spiritual pages and they follow you. You think, oh, that's nice. I'll follow them back, and then they unfollow you a week later.
I know, or else they'll
You think,
interact also, like, oh, I love the pig, you know, and
yeah,
then you're like,
and then you say to
okay,
them,
and then
and
they're
some of
gone.
them said, well, I said, why would you do that? You know, what's the point of it? And they say, oh, I've got a bot doing it.
Oh my
Well,
gosh,
they've actually sort of said that's how they do it.
I
But it's
didn't know
so,
that.
yeah,
Well, thanks
yeah,
for
you
that
can,
info.
yeah, it's so I don't know. You just got to, be real with it, haven't you, nowadays? Because people feel that, there's so much BS in the world, isn't there? You know, what we're getting
Yeah,
fed from governments and all that,
yeah,
people are desperate for authenticity more than ever.
yeah,
Yes.
And you feel it. I think we've got a radar now that's more honed and tuned
yeah.
into that than ever.
I always feel
So,
so bad for people that are on my page and they get locked into, they see like a psychic comment in the comments and they fall for it because my page is everything aligns, you know? So I try to like, and that's where I get in trouble because I get feisty and then I'm like, I'm going to shout you out. So nobody knows that you're, so everyone knows you're fake. And that's where I got to calm down a little. I just get so, I feel for the people who fall into these traps because then they're out like $700 and they walk around thinking that
yeah.
there's a spell on them when there's no such thing. It's not on you, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll
That's the
simmer
thing,
down in
isn't it?
that area.
No, I think it's good. I think you've got to be the warrior sometimes, haven't you? You've got to call these things out. And,
True.
there's no, I think, it's great following spiritual principles, but, we live in a tough world as well. And sometimes you have to, just be
Advocate.
bit more, speak your truth, don't you?
Yeah.
It's, yeah, that's what it's all about. So,
Mhm.
So yeah,
So
so how did you find my recordings initially?
Okay, so I think I just plugged in meditations and my apps on my phone, and
Yeah.
and yours is the one that popped up. So of course I listened to the one and I'm like, oh my gosh, these are great. So and then I ended up downloading all of them on my phone. And then I was like, well, I want these on my iPod or whatever, you know? So I bought your discs and I downloaded them, and it just was something that I needed in that time. And now that I'm going through what I am now, I definitely need them. So it's,
Mm.
it was just amazing to me that the journey that you take people on through these meditations, and then every single time I would listen to it again, I wouldn't hear something that you said before in it. And I'm like, oh
Mm.
my gosh. And then when you're out of it, you still don't remember what you said, but
Yeah.
it's just it's like you hear what you need to hear every time
Yeah.
along the way. It's like, you know, just
Yeah.
how it's supposed to be. But the feeling that they give you and the releases I had with the emotion was just huge. And I mean, I'd go from the root to the sacral, like go running through them over at night. And then whatever, sometimes it would irritate me, you know, listening to them, but I knew that was a frequency I had to listen to because it was irritating me.
Yeah.
So it was fun. It was cool. I like that. And then
Yeah.
Jessica was asking, so I turned her on to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So grateful for that, because I didn't know about them, and all of a sudden I got this pretty little package in the mail, and it just said something like, these will help. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And I was like, here, these from you. She's like, yeah, just listen to them. And I'm like, okay, all right, let me give it a go. Cause sometimes I have a hard time meditating because my mind is running all over the place. So it's hard
Yeah.
for me to really just,
Yeah.
quiet all the chatter. And with yours, I was like, whoa. I just went into it, and before I knew it, 35 minutes was already passed, and I just felt lighter
Oh,
and
wow.
calmer. And I did,
Yeah.
even this morning, I said to Katie, I've been all riled up, just the energies of everything. And I immediately put on yours, the 7 chakras. And right after, I said, I feel so much better. I feel so much more relaxed. I'm more grounded. I'm
Wonderful.
so much more peaceful now. So they are just amazing, amazing
Oh,
meditation.
thank you. Thank you. Is it these solfeggio tones that you listen to?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So are they on CD? Did Katie send them to you on CD?
Oh yeah, I got all the
Oh, and the
CDs.
chakra. Ah, that's not a solfeggio one. That's my one. You know, this chakra.
Show them the other ones I sent you.
Yep. And these,
So they're the solfeggios. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I got all of them.
Hey, we have
So
a
I got my
those-
question
nice
though.
collection.
They're what,
Why
sorry?
is there no crown?
Because with the solfeggio tones, there's 6 main tones.
Okay.
So with the chakras, obviously there's 7 main chakras, but there's 6 solfeggio main frequencies. And these are, just to give people a background to it, these are sacred frequencies that Gregorian monks used to chant back in the day to invoke certain states. So like, for example, with the first one, 396 hertz, they chant that frequency to invoke, release feelings of guilt and anxiety, that kind of thing. Guilt was the main one with the bass one.
Huh.
And they kind of do work with the chakras, but they're not aligned with the 7 chakras.
Okay, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, but the
That's
bass
good
one
to
is like a
clarify.
red. The color's red. It's
Yeah.
similar to the main chakra, but the solfeggio tones are just a difference. It's more frequency based than the chakras are working on, because the chakras are energy points on the body, aren't they, at certain
Right.
point, whereas these are frequencies.
Okay.
And yes, the Gregorian monks used to chant these tones. And so, one day I was with a friend of mine, a guy called Ali Calderwood, who's a musician who used to run the most amazing plant medicine ceremonies.
Oh, nice.
Incredible. Yeah. Some of the ceremonies I did with him back there in the UK years ago were just incredible. And we sat around and we spoke about making a range of recordings. We were talking about the solfeggio tones. And we said, why don't, if you create the music, I'll create a meditation and we'll merge them together. And we created that alchemy thing. What you do. He's an amazing musician. The tones he created was absolutely spot on, even to the point where we had Dr. Len Horowitz, who was responsible for rediscovering the frequencies with another gentleman. I can't remember. He wrote a book. And he messaged us and said, your tones are absolutely on the money. Whereas he said,
I love it.
I hear a lot of tones and they're not quite there. You know, they're not on it. So Ali created it perfectly. And then we scripted a meditation between us for each one based on the theme of the frequency. And, you know, and then I recorded the vocal and we mixed it and, you know, put them out there. And again, you know, we didn't have any master plan. We just, you know, sent them out there and put them on different platforms. And, you know, we get the most wonderful feedback on them.
I even got all the frequencies without the guided meditations from you also. So I have those.
Just the sounds. Yeah.
Just the sounds. Yeah. It's not as fun though, because it's your voice that does it.
Yeah. Well, it's, he's an amazing musician and on, you know, the music he creates is fantastic. But he's kind of, I was thinking about him again recently. He's a bit of a hermit. He's disappeared. You know, he lives up in Scotland. In this really remote place, and you have to get a boat across the night to get to where he lives.
He's got the right idea.
Yeah, it's totally off. It really has. I mean, it's so off grid.
That's great.
Yeah, I've lost touch with him. You know, we send him the royalty checks every 6 months, but that's it. Don't, you know, he completely and utterly cut himself off. Which is a great thing to do in this day and age, but not in Scotland. It's freezing up there. I mean, I'm in Portugal, down here in Portugal, and it's a nice place. Good community down here.
I bet.
Yeah, a lot of awakened souls come to this part of the world.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
well, that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's nice. Yeah, there's always interesting things going on, and you know, you can find other people of a like mind. Because I think
that's what's hard for people these days is finding people with the like mind, you know, and when, especially in this field, you know, you have to find people that get it or else you constantly feel like an outcast, you know? So I'm grateful for,
you're constantly, not teaching, but you're constantly talking to people on the frequency thing. You're on one frequency and they're on another.
Yes.
And I think, it's nice. I think you need to, you know, I love being around people who are awake and conscious and having really deep, meaningful conversations.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if I go and play tennis in a group, you know, it's kind of like the normies, if you like. And they're all talking about the vaccine and like, you know, they just say, oh, beam me up, you know.
Yes.
I want to get out of here.
Yeah. So it's hard to sit there and listen.
It really is. Yeah. So it's nice to kind of find your tribe, isn't it?
Yeah.
And connect and, you know, that's the thing in this day and age.
That's with like Jessica and Christine, who's also on the page. We're like a trio because anytime there's an energy shift or something, we're like, how are you doing? You holding on? Like, yeah, what roller coaster are you on? But it's great because we get it, you know, and we have no secrets with each other because we all work on each other. So there's nothing to hide. I mean, even if you try to hide it, we're like, come on now.
Yeah. It's nice, isn't it? And you if you're feeling the same thing at the same time, it's like you post about the Schumann resonance.
Yes.
And sometimes you post that and I think, oh, that's what it was. I had a really crap day yesterday. And you posted something about the Schumann resonance and it makes sense. You know, you think, oh, that's what it is. It's not me just being a grump or whatever, you know, it's something energetically is bombarding us.
Right. And that was what I wanted the page also when I just wanted to post stuff that would help people understand that there's other factors that contribute to how you're thinking and feeling in life, you know, because so many times people take that on as it's my fault. I feel this way. It's my fault. There's to an extent, you know, to an extent you can blame yourself for things, but no, there's other factors in it and it's true. You know, I get all feisty at times and then I go check my Schumann and I'm like, man, I wish I bit my tongue. It's like it had just spiked and I'm like, I felt that. I knew it.
And you react because of it, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah. But I've got that. Yes. I've got friends who, you know, they say, how did you feel yesterday? Were you out of sorts and bomb? And I felt that as well. And you know, if they did, it's something other than, you know, a personal thing. Yeah. So, it's great. And I saw you posted something as well today about the wounds, the traumas, the different types of wounds.
Yeah.
I thought that was really informative. What a great meme. In that little meme, there's so much information.
Right. Right.
I'm going to pinch that if you don't mind.
Go for it.
I'll put a tag on it. But it's such a
Go
great,
for it.
yeah, it's such a great one. It's such an informative thing, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? That's what, if you're putting out things like that, people need it, don't they? It's knowledge, it's wisdom. It's like
And
opening
sometimes
up.
they don't know it. Yeah.
No, that's it. But it's, that's what's needed. It's this awakening that's going on, that's happening for all of us. And, those that are just coming into it need that sort of leg up, don't they? They need that helping hand.
Yeah.
Whether it's a meditation or, some information or whatever it is, it's there. So it's, it's great to be of service in that way, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that. I just wanted people to be able to go to the page and find all different things that they can, whatever they gravitate towards, that will help them grow, So like your guided meditations, and then books that I'll be having I'm working on my resources page. So there'll be books on there for people for self-help or, spiritualism, everything. So
that's
try
it.
to help out. I just get so tired of people being so depressed and sad. I feel bad, so I just want everybody to heal.
Yeah. And I always remind people that, on a soul level, we've chosen to incarnate at this time.
Yeah.
Where it's so chaotic, and where there's this battle between dark and light forces going on.
Yeah.
We're sort of, frustrated with all the government controls and manipulation, the corruption.
Yeah.
But on another level, we've chosen to be here, and as individuals, we've got a lot of power and potential. Everyone has.
Yeah.
So we can, put out our, whatever it is, our gift into the world, and that has a ripple effect.
Yes.
And it can, it's part of the light forces that are battling the dark. So if you remind people of that, you can reframe it and you see it in a different way.
Yeah. How do you notice, your children, do you notice they get affected by anything, and how have they even been with things going on right now?
Well, I've got an older boy who's 33, and he's a hypnotherapist now, and
oh, that's great.
He's my best mate. He's a like mind, he's wide awake. I can talk to him about anything.
Oh, I love it.
And he's fantastic. And I've got two little ones. I've got one of 6 and one of 4.
Oh.
And they're great little kids, it's so much fun. And, and no, they're not affected by it at all, really, because they're so young. And, I saw a great meme the other day, actually, and it was a mother with a load of arrows in her back, and she had a book she was showing her kid, and there's this sunshine, and it was like a protection thing. She was protecting the little kid, and his world was sunny and light and beautiful.
Right.
She was taking the arrows.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that's, you've got to protect them and nurture them for as long as possible, and they'll figure it out later on, won't they? And but when they're little, make them,
keep them innocent.
Keep them innocent and kids for a long time.
Yeah.
I grew up way too fast.
I hear you.
I was, doing everything I shouldn't have done about 3 years before everyone else.
Right.
So
we got the experience.
And it's in one way, it's like when you go on that journey, it's tougher because you're sort of exposed to a lot of things at a young age that you shouldn't be. But if you do the healing and work on the wounds, then you come out of it and you make a good teacher because of that, because you've
definitely
the real life experience.
Yeah. Did you ever have a problem getting them to sleep at night because of your hypnotic voice? Or are you just like, go to bed?
The kids, well, my older boy, I started hypnotizing him when he was about 6.
Oh, yeah?
Because I just became a hypnotherapist then, and I was so enthusiastic about it.
Yeah.
And so I'd work with him. So anytime he had an exam or he was, a bit stressed or, something was going on, I'd just, do an age appropriate little hypnosis session with him.
Yeah.
And no surprise, he's a hypnotherapist now.
You did that. You hypnotized him, though. No, just kidding.
I hypnotized him then. It just sort of came out all these years later. And so, yes, just something's popped up on my screen there, so it's gone. So, he's a great. And the 2 little ones, I mean, they're very strong-willed kids.
Yeah.
And if they want something, they let the world know. And
They look like a lot of fun.
they're great fun. They're so
Now,
much fun.
your wife is doing something too right now, right?
Yeah, Nick is a hypnotherapist as well. So we're a
Okay,
bit of a
great.
dynasty. And
Like mine, that's perfect.
yeah, we kind of just connected through it. Well, Nick used to actually listen to my recordings years ago.
Did she?
And that's kind of, it's a long story, but that's kind of the road that led us to getting together.
That's
And
great.
yes, and she was on my Facebook fan page, even though she swears to this day she was never a fan.
That's great.
But it's on my fan page. So so Nick's being the kids are so young, her career's she still does things, but not as driven as she used to be. A lot of her focus is on the kids. So
yeah,
but
understandable.
we're kind of what are we going to do? We're going to do a mantra meditation series between us.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Yeah, because Nick's got a lovely voice, and she's been chanting recently. Listen to these amazing chants and singing, and I said we should do something around that.
That's
And
great.
so another quite organic thing that's we're going to do when the time's right. When we've got the right.
Let me know. We'll get that out there too.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
When the planets are aligned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, have you had your astrology chart read and everything?
Yeah, not for a while. Not
Yeah.
for a while, but a few years ago I did, yeah.
It's interesting, right?
Do you know, you just reminded me of something because, when I was a hypnotherapist and before I started making recordings, I had a friend who was a South African lady who lived in the UK for a while, and she read my chart, and the actual, she did it, and she said to me, she said, this is amazing. She said that your chart is showing me that you're going to have, and this was her words, I'm not sort of adding it or fluffing it up, but she said, you're going to have a profound effect on humanity the world over through your work.
Oh, wow.
And at
That's
the time
profound.
I had 3 local clinics, and I thought, oh, she's stretching that a bit. I mean, I'm seeing about, 20 clients a week, but I don't know about all over the world. And then years later, when the recordings took off, I remembered what she said, and she had read my chart back then.
Right.
So yeah, it's quite amazing, isn't it? What's in your chart from when you're born and where the stars are lined up and that kind of thing. It was, but then I think when I got into it, like I said to you earlier, everything was an easy journey.
Yeah.
Getting into like big chain stores back in the UK, which, is unheard of now. You can't just knock on their door and get into 200 stores, but it all just happened. I just phoned them up and got the right person, and boom, suddenly I was selling
Something
hundreds
meant
of thousands.
to be.
Yeah.
Very
So
cool.
it's all, I think that's it. When you find your path, it just flows, doesn't it? It's not hard work.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of, have you had your chart read?
Yes. Yeah. And it's really neat because I check it whenever I'm going through something. Like, I'll text Jessica, can you tell me what's going on right now? And she'll go, hold on. And she looks up my coordinates and figures it out. All right, this is what's going on. Yes, you got every right to be crazy. And, just stuff like that. But when the first time I got it done, it was so fascinating to me because it helped me understand my past, and why I went through what I went through. And it just unfolds that way. It made me have peace with what I went through also. Like, I was just like, oh, it was just meant to be, so it's supposed to be that way. But it's interesting, and I maybe shouldn't bring this up, but I have a twin sister, and she's 5 minutes. I'm 5 minutes older. So with her chart, though, it doesn't line up the same. so because we're 5 minutes apart, but it's interesting to see her life and my life. It's because we mirror each other, but at the same time, it's very different. But interesting too.
And it's because of those 5 minutes, is it?
Those 5 minutes. You want to explain that, Jessica?
Wow.
Is it?
Yeah, no, honestly, I get that question a lot when it comes to twins. Like, if I have a set of twins, are they going to be on the same path? And most of the time it's no, because one twin may mirror the higher road of the sign or the planet. The planets, the signs, the houses, everything has like what you call like a high road aspect to it or a low road aspect to it.
Mm.
So one twin might mirror the higher ends of those aspects for that planet, that house, that placement. And the other twin will resemble the lower aspects, and they handle things differently as opposed to the one who handles the higher road of it. So even though they're twins, they may have certain similarities as far as like their Saturn lessons or their north nodes, but they tend to be like the yin and yang, basically, where one will mirror one side and one will mirror the other. So it can be very different.
That's fascinating. Just 5 minutes apart, and it's so different.
Yeah.
Amazing. Wow. Wow.
Have you had any psychic tarot readings or anything?
Yeah, I have done. Not for a while, not in the recent future, but yeah, I'm trying to think of some that I had back in the day. Yeah, I mean, again, I was told I used to, when I first got into started waking up spiritually, I was around 30, so like almost 30 years ago now. I was went to a little healing group locally. And I remember sitting in this room, and it was like a group of maybe 10 of us. And, there were a number of old ladies and older people. And part of me's thinking, what am I doing here? This is crazy. It's like, but then, I learned by then to not be judgmental and just open up and got into the healing, hands-on healing, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the guy that was running it, he said to me at the time, I remember him saying to me that you've got to start using your voice, because sometimes he'd say, and he knew I was training as a hypnotherapist, and he'd say, do the little meditation at the end. And when I was younger, I was so like, in one aspect, I was like a brash, cocky little teenager. I was out in the streets with gangs and what have you, getting into all kinds of trouble, but it was just a front. I was really, lacked confidence and belief, and
of course,
and because I had a very crazy, quite a violent childhood, and kicked out of school when I was 15, all that kind of stuff. And so I'd lacked this confidence and self-belief. And so when just him asking me to do a little meditation in front of a group of 10 old ladies and what have you, I couldn't do it, and I'd clam up, and I used to sweat and get really anxious. And
like I am right now. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah.
He kept pushing me though. He kept saying, "Come on, you've got to do this." She said, and he was psychic, and he used to say to me, "Look, you've got a gift for doing this, whether you know it or not. You should be communicating in this way, through meditation." And again, this was before I started making the recordings and really, doing what I'm doing now. So all of those signs were coming at me, and I was getting told in many different ways. But it was interesting. It was fascinating. When I look back now and remember those things, you just think, wow,
it dawns on you.
Yeah, we're all being given these signs by the universe, aren't we?
Oh yeah.
But sometimes you don't see them because your mind's in the way. You're thinking, you're overthinking and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's that. So when you switch off, you go into a state of meditation and the monkey mind's quieting down.
Yeah.
That's when the intuition's there, isn't it? It comes up and you get guided. You start to have clarity and you know the way to go.
Yeah.
It's that simple. That's the power of meditation, isn't it?
And you know what? You can't teach. I don't feel like you can teach manifestation and stuff or that. I feel like it's literally a process you have to unravel yourself, like I could read and I honestly post those what's it called? Manifestation posts and stuff like that people can look at and try for free or whatever, because I believe that everything helps you get to where you need to be. Like everything is just a tool, but when it comes down to it, I just really believe that it unravels in its own time. It's just something that, and then when you're in that zone, it's like, oh, this is what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's that, isn't it? And the timing has to be right as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. Did you have a problem with, because some people have this problem, and I wanted to address it, like success. Was success something that you struggled with as you were going along, or did you embrace it and weren't scared of it or anything like that?
It was one of those things that I had to clear a lot of failure programming.
Yeah.
You know, because I like I said, I was kicked out of school when I was 15. So even going into hypnotherapy college, like in my late 20s, was a big deal for me. You know, because my only experience of sitting in a classroom was a negative one where I was,
Right.
you know, always getting told off and that kind of thing. So I had to, but then when I learned the self-hypnosis technique, I used that to feel comfortable being taught stuff and sitting in a classroom.
Oh,
And
very
so I
cool.
took out the old program and replaced it with something new, which is, you know, that's the great gift. And with, you know, with success and that kind of thing. Yeah. When I first started working on the law of attraction, when I was around 30, I'd been flat broke all my life, never held down a proper job. I was hustling, driving a minicab, playing my guitar in bars and clubs, you know, just making money as I could. And so to, you know, to think about, you know, I knew the principle was that you write down all the goals of the things you want. So I wanted £1 million house. I wanted an Aston Martin. I wanted a villa in
Yeah.
Florida. You know, I was young and I wanted those material goals back then. And,
Right.
you know, but I knew the principle and so I worked on it, and I used to use self-hypnosis for like an hour every day to visualize this abundant, prosperous life. And, you know, every now and again I get this thought, how are you ever going to do that when you've never made £1,000 a month? You know, it's like,
Yeah.
the old failure programming was still there. So
Right.
I learned over time to clear those things away and let them go. It's part of your past. You don't need it. And to embrace this new abundant lifestyle.
Yeah.
And, you know, at the time I was living in a council flat in London in a really rough area, but I was, you know, in my mind, I was driving an Aston Martin.
Good. Yeah.
And, you know, years later, all of those things, they came along, you know, I
Yeah.
got them, you know, and I, even to the point I remember driving home in this Aston Martin one day and thinking, geez, this law of attraction thing really works.
Right.
And it was
Yeah.
like suddenly, you know, I felt like I driving down the mountain, I felt like I was floating. I felt like the car was going up in the air. It was like that scene from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Nice.
It was
I haven't
mad,
heard
but
that in forever. Yeah.
it just made me realize that the power of, you know, we've all got inside of us.
Yeah.
That in spite of any failure programming, any appalling childhood you might have had,
Yeah.
you can break it, you can let go of it, and you create success in your life. But I think the big thing is, you know, it's like The Secret. I talk about this sometimes. You know, when The Secret came out, it was this law of attraction. Boom! It was like great, and
I
it was a
remember that.
message, and it went out to the masses, and a lot of people got the concept. But without doing the clearing work, the inner healing,
Right.
and releasing those wounds, you're going to take 3 steps forward and, you know, 3 steps back.
Yep. Yeah.
It's you've got to do the clearing work along with all that manifestation work.
And sometimes you don't even know where to clear or where to go or, you know, where to start with yourself, but it's an unraveling.
It is. And it's like peeling layers of the onion, you know, over
Yes.
time, you know, and, you know, none of us can ever think we're at the end goal. We're all a work in progress, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
You know, I've met some very wise people, some amazing shamans. And when you get to know them, you realize they're just human beings with their own stuff.
Yep.
They've been on the journey. And so we're all on that path. You know, it's the reason we're here on the planet. It's like an opportunity to graduate, isn't it? If you do the work.
Earth school. Yeah.
Earth school. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what an amazing thing to be here at this time and have all these opportunities. And, you know, so, yeah, but the clearing work is so important, isn't it?
Yeah. I even did a past life regression with Christine because she does that. Because I wanted to understand this fear of with the success and moving forward and stuff. And it was pretty fascinating what came up. And it honestly, I highly recommend this past life. What did I just call it? Yes, thank you. Sorry. Because it does tap into your subconscious and past lives that actually carry on into this life. What's interesting is one of my past life regressions, which makes sense now, because why would I get into law enforcement with how I feel and who I am and everything? And there was a part of me that has this for justice. Hello, why I post and sell people out who are fake psychics. But it was like this justice I have. And I learned that in a past life, I was a soldier. A male soldier, actually.
Right.
And I was shot and killed, but I was a high-ranking officer. So, which makes so much sense because I've always been like the protector of all things, and just going into that field was just, I was like, I kind of feel like this resonates, but I don't at the same time, you know? So it was neat
Yeah.
to
So
see that.
on one level, it was like a drive from a past life that took you into that.
Yeah.
But then your spiritual
Yeah,
consciousness in this life was not resonating with that, I guess.
exactly. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
just like, okay, I revisited this and now I'm done with it.
It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. What you hold and what you carry on in your lineage. And my wife, Nicola, she's doing a lot of work on clearing her family karma at the moment.
Yeah.
And, that's something that, I was, a number of years ago, I was never aware of that you come in and you're, you've got this karma from your family downline.
Yeah.
But had an amazing ayahuasca experience a number of years ago where I was in ceremony and immersed in this, state where I was, things were coming to me really quick and fast. And I got my patriarchal downline. They were like the faces in Mount Rushmore, the presidents. It's weird how I saw them. I saw each one of them, and it was like my dad, my granddad, great granddad, and they were all kind of guys that had, made money. My granddad was a gambler and a bare knuckle boxer, a right tough old guy.
Yeah.
And he'd made a lot of money and then he'd lost money. So he was a ducker and diver. And they were all kind of, the message I was getting in ceremony was that keep doing what you're doing because you're healing the family karma.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. And it was a new, I'd never heard that before.
Yeah.
And then when I came out after the ceremony, I researched it and they said it's like a byproduct of the ayahuasca experience that you get these messages from your downline. And that blew me away because I didn't have that preconceived knowledge when I went into it. So it was felt like the real deal. And,
that's very cool.
Yeah. So it's another level of awareness that you're doing that. You're working through this karma you've inherited.
Yeah. I keep thinking I have a big head because in my life, I feel like I'm going to clear out all my karmas because I'm not coming back here.
Yeah. Do you want to come into this world with all this corruption and or do you want to sort of, but I think that's the opportunity, isn't it? If you do the work and you kind of, you learn to raise your vibration as much as you can and heal as much as you can, then you're gonna, your frequency will in the next life will match the one that you got when you check out.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll be in a place with harps and like angels all around, fluffy clouds, and it'll be, blissful. Not, I came in South London with two unconscious parents and like getting my ass kicked around for like 20 years.
Have you woken them up?
Have I what? Sorry.
Have you woken them up?
My mum passed in 2007, and to a degree, yeah, I did.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, it was cool. It was like a good journey because we had a very traumatic relationship early on.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of stuff to work, but we did, as I woke up, I helped her and we used to communicate a lot and start to understand things on a deeper level. And it helped to heal a lot. So when she passed, it was kind of, it felt good,
Okay.
We're not going to come back and play it all out again.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And
no need to revisit that.
My dad's still with us. He's like 81 and he's I can only talk to him on a very sort of superficial level where we laugh and joke about superficial things, but he's a big drinker. Mm-hmm. And so he's very consciously, he's very sort of dumbed down and blocked. And so you can only communicate in a certain way, it's like,
right. Yeah.
I have to sort of, it's, and sometimes you just have to accept that, you can't break through with some family members, even though you might want to, but if they're not ready to hear the message, then you can't
force it. Yeah.
No, that's it.
So true. Up to, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's been really nice talking to you.
Yeah, both of you guys. Yeah. So Jessica, is that something you've always done? The readings and is it something that was a natural calling or?
Natural, but kind of forced too. Probably a little bit of both. I do a lot of different types of readings, but I really love astrology just because I think it's a nice blend of spiritualism and something tangible that people can see. So to almost feeds like the spiritual side, but I have something I can hold in my hands, because when I give you your chart, you can actually see what it is, you know? So for me, that I just love what it can show, because I love the crap in people's charts, sort of say. I do. I always say that. That's just the way I do charts. Like, you know, we all know we have good, fuzzy things that we can look forward to. But I like the darkness in people's charts, because when you can hone in on that and you can make the choice, like, okay, this is what I was given as a difficulty, but I have the ability to change it. That's where the real growth is.
Yes,
you know?
totally. It's so true, isn't it? When you become aware of your shadow and the things that need healing, you know, you take quantum leaps forward, don't you? If you do the work, and you know, it's powerful stuff.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it can make big changes for people.
Yeah, and amazing. You know, in astrology, you can reveal that. Hypnotherapy, you can reveal it. You know, plant medicine ceremonies. There are so many ways to do it, isn't there, and to get to it.
The plant medicine fascinates me so much. And Christine, she does the psychic tarot readings. She just went and did the ayahuasca and came back with a great same thing. She's like, holy crap, it was hard as hell, but this is what I got from it. And it was just, I'm so happy she went, because you just get the other side of things, you know, like you said, you get these messages that come out of nowhere and you're like, oh, wow.
It's like
it's healing.
It's so healing. It's like the truth medicine, isn't it? They call it.
Yeah, it's not alcohol, it's that stuff.
It's there's that brilliant Graham Hancock quote where he says that every politician should drink 10 times before they enter the house, before they become you know, a politician or whatever they do. You know, because you can't lie and cheat and duck and dive once you've drunk that medicine. And it's amazing to think that it's a plant and a vine combined out of, you know, thousands of plants in the jungle in South America that create this magic and create this this wonder, this great reveal when you drink it. And I'm a huge fan. I've experienced that a number of times, and since I've been out here in Portugal, we've made a connection with somebody who runs amazing ceremonies along the coast. And we're going to go along there. And it's a great place. Well, he actually, you know, they say to have the true experience, you've got to go to South America to have the indigenous plant medicine. But he grows the plant on his land here in Portugal. The vine comes over from South America, but he combines it with the plant and the vine, and the plant grows on his land. So it's as close as you can get to having the real authentic experience. I bet. Yes, it's incredible. You know, it's every time, you know, it's like another way to strip away the layers, isn't it? The conditioning, the wounds. You can do it with hypnotherapy, you know, astrology and all these wonderful things. But something like that is more of an energetic experience, isn't it? You know, and you get insights as to things that you were not aware of. Even
it's so neat.
It's so amazing, isn't it? And you know, you have these, I mean, the last one I did, I went along, it was probably about 3 or 4 months ago, and I was feeling in quite a good place. You know, everything's tickety-boo and working well in my life. And I went along and drank the medicine. And then for the first probably 45 minutes, I was just getting this horrible digital noise. And it was the sound of it was horrible. It was like, you remember the fax machines when they'd go off? It was like that, but 10 times. And it was all around me. It was inside me. When I opened my eyes, it was these horrible fractals all messed up, and it was this digital distortion. And I didn't know what it was at first. And then suddenly it clicked, and it was my phone. You know, I'm on my phone way too much, like most people are in this day and age. And it was telling me, you know, you've got to cut off the phone, you know, and cut back on technology. Because I love it. I love technology. I'm into crypto and all that. I like doing that kind of stuff, but it's also so consuming. And so the medicine straight away, boom, it was right in my face. You know, it was showing me. That's so neat. And so after that, I cut down, you know, after 7 o'clock, switched my phone off, wouldn't turn it on till 10 in the morning, and started reading again. You know, and I've read 6 books since I did that ceremony.
Oh, that's great. We'll get them on the site. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So it's that reveal, isn't it? It's showing you
Yeah.
what you need. You
I
know,
started doing that recently, just cutting off a time with the phone, because you get sucked into it, just
Yeah.
social media, especially when you do this for a living.
yeah,
But it's,
yeah,
but yeah, picking up a book instead. Like that's what I've been starting to do is, okay, at nighttime, I put my son down, I do a little work, and then I'm reading, because it also helps tire you out better, because when you're glued to the light, it's keeping you up,
yeah, yeah.
So
Sleep is still the biggest problem for people. My number
yeah,
one seller is sleep, deep sleep,
yeah, I
because
bet. I
yeah,
did have
people
my
just
mom do the smoking one that you have, but she loves smoking so much, so it's not going to happen.
no. You got to want to do it, haven't you? You
Yeah,
got to want to
exactly.
do it.
That's what I'm saying, people. She doesn't want it, so that's why it didn't work for her. Doesn't want it.
Yeah, it kind of it's always that thing where it works with your own motivation.
Yeah,
And I mean, I'd always have see clients, one to one, and then they'd say, "Oh, do you think you can help my husband? He wants to, stop drinking or stop smoking." And I said, "Well, does he really want to do it?" And they said, "Well, you've helped me lose weight. Just you'll be fine. And he'd come along and he'd sit in front of me, arms crossed, and it's like, "Come on, then, mate, hypnotize me."
do your
Oh
work.
my God, I got my work cut out here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
prove
So
it
you've
to
got
me,
to,
Glenn.
yeah, you've got to have that initial motivation,
Yeah, yeah, you
and
do.
that's it. So
The
yeah,
last one I'll say is your sports performance. I used that when I was competing, and also with law enforcement with my testing that I had, physical tests I had to do. And that
ah,
was fantastic. That really helped me, because sometimes I get into a funk, and I just would listen to that, and it literally just regroups your brain. And I was like, all
yeah,
right, let's go work out, get my workout in. It was perfect. It
brilliant.
was really helpful.
And did you say you compete?
Yes. Uh-huh.
And what do you do? What competing?
I haven't in a long time, but it was just bikini shows, fitness stuff like that.
Oh wow, oh
Yeah.
wow, yeah. So that would help you get in the zone, and
Oh yeah, it helped me
yeah,
stay in the zone, especially when I was struggling, because that stuff it's not easy, especially with the diet. But it
yeah.
really would wrap my head around. Okay, keep going forward.
Yeah, that's kind of when they work best, when you've got the motivation there and you use something like that to really enhance those feelings
Yeah, yeah,
and supercharge them. So yeah, it's powerful stuff.
definitely.
Mhm.
So
You do
how old's
great
your
work.
little one?
He's great. I love him so much. He's so great.
How old is he?
He's 14 months.
14 months.
Yeah, 14. He's a little guy.
Wow. So you're right in the thick of it.
Yeah. And I was told that the children born like now are supposed to be able to stand on their own 2 feet in a sense, because they're born into
Yeah.
this chaos. So I'm like,
Yeah.
which explains a lot, because he's feisty already.
Yeah. That's the thing. Sometimes I was speaking to my older son about this, and him and his wife are kind of, they kind of casually trying for a baby, not fully committed to the idea because they love their freedom.
Yeah.
But he said to me, "Oh, I said, part of me thinks, do I want to bring kids into the world as it is now?"
Yeah.
But then, I look at my kids and I think they're going to adapt to their environment and their surroundings. And,
True.
I think they've come into the world at this time for a reason, haven't they? They're obviously, going to be hopefully forces for good in the world, and they'll be, able to deal with what comes along.
Yeah.
You can sometimes judge it by your own experiences. I mean, I grew up in the 60s and the 70s, and you think how simple and black and white life was back then.
Right.
But nowadays it's a different thing. And, we've learned to adapt over time.
Yeah.
But kids will do that. And they say, what are the kids now? Not crystal children. Is it indigo? Not indigo.
Indigo. Yeah.
They're crystal. They're light beings, aren't they?
Yeah.
And if they wake up, they'll be able to change the world in their way.
They will.
So
Every time
think,
I see my son when he was first born, I'm like, what are you thinking of? Like, I would think, is he thinking of a past life? Because they filter through all those things when they're first born. I'm like, and if he would wake up in the middle of the night screaming, I'm like, what do you dream about? Like, you just they're so interesting. It's so neat to see
because
them.
they've just come from that. They've just come out to it, and they're so tuned into it. I mean, my little boy, this only happened a couple of months ago. My mum's birthday was the 12th of February. And this year, and I remembered it a couple of days before. I thought, oh, it's Mum's birthday at 12. And I thought I'll light a little candle and,
Yeah.
connect with her. And then on the day I forgot, I got busy and I completely forgot. So my little boy, who's 4, he started saying to my wife, Nicola, Granny Wendy this, Granny Wendy that, just randomly. And he doesn't, I think once I've showed him a picture of her and said, that's Granny Wendy. So he's never, ever mentioned her before, never mentioned her since. But on her birthday, he's going, Granny Wendy. And I thought, geez, that's my mum telling me you forgot on my birthday.
Yeah, it is. That's funny.
I was getting a bollocking from the other side.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. They do come after you.
They do. My mum would. She'd have been well, pissed off for that, not me forgetting her birthday. So yeah, straight through the little one and boom.
Yeah. Straight through the little one. Yeah.
And
that's neat how spirit works though.
Hey, that's what, sorry?
It's neat how spirit works though. That's exactly what she did.
I love it. When things like that happen, I love it. It's just amazing. And so at 14 months, they're still very connected, aren't they? And
they are. The other night I had a ghost in my room and I felt them step in, like my window started creaking weird. And I knew right then, I was like, they just flew in. And my son was on the bed and he just starts kicking and screaming, doing everything to get off the bed. And he's turning around going, like screaming. I've never seen him move like this or yell like this. And I'm going, okay. And my mom's a medium. She's a medium and she does the readings for the site for medium. And I yelled at my mom, like, Mom, what's in my room? And she just like, she got rid of it, of course. But I was like, and she just explains what was there, what, not to be afraid and everything. Cause I don't like tapping into them. I'm just like, I know you're there. Let me get my mom to deal with you. But it was really neat to see my son. He clearly sees them, and because they do when they're younger also, but he was freaked out.
It's amazing. And so you're enjoying the journey. I mean, I remember my wife said to me the other day, they're sort of 4 and 6 now. So it's kind of does get easier as they get older.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, but I miss those days when they were little babies and,
Yeah.
No.
You don't want to redo that, Glenn?
No, not again. I just about survived it this time round. Nappies and knee deep in, poop and poop. It's like hard going, but it's an amazing journey, but a tough one as well, isn't it? Because you're just of service to them, aren't they? These little souls that have come in, you're just of service, and it tests you. You're up all night and doing all this stuff, but
it's so nice.
It's an amazing journey. The rewards are, you can't put anything on the rewards. They're just amazing, aren't they? What you get back from them. We have some blissful moments with the kids, really blissful,
and they're hilarious.
They're so funny. They're just hilarious. The stuff they come out with.
Yeah, they are. Well,
so
I guess we should wrap up a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, we've been on an hour now, which is great. It's flown by.
Yeah, it has. I appreciate you so much for doing this, and I look forward to everything that's to come with the page and having you on it also.
Oh, thank you so much. And it's my pleasure.
Finally got to meet you, so this was perfect.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. And thank you too, Jessica.
Thank you for making these amazing CDs, because they really are life-changing for anybody who has trouble really just needing to calm their mind and just be able to focus and do the healing. These are by far the best option to go. I really believe in them.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And you have your new member group, right?
Yeah, I've got a membership page, and that's ticking over. It's growing gradually. I think we've got 100 or so on there, and I do webinars on there every Wednesday. Every other Friday.
Okay.
And I'm on Insight Timer. I do a webinar on Insight Timer every Wednesday, and I'm gonna, once the weather brightens up, and I'm gonna start doing public ones again. Because they're nice just to. And I'm maybe if you'd like to come on that sometime.
Sure, I'd love to.
Yeah, because sometimes I do the webinars on my own and I just talk for an hour and do a little meditation, but it's nice to have guests on.
Yeah, sure.
I prefer that. I prefer sort of bouncing ideas off people and,
Yeah.
Yeah, it creates. So yeah, I'll give you a shout once I'm set up doing the public ones again.
All right. Sounds good. This is the way we mingle now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Not real world stuff, but
No,
it's the blessing of the modern age, isn't it? That
it
you're
is.
in
It
New
definitely
Jersey,
is.
I'm in Portugal, and we're chatting away, and yeah, it's nice. You build friendships with people all over the world. I love it.
And I'm telling people, I had Glenn Harrold over this morning. Kidding. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Just kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm kidding.
it's lovely. It's great. So yeah, so lovely to speak to you both,
You too.
Thank you
and
too.
we'll do it again. We'll do it again
Definitely.
sometime.
I'll be in touch.
Okay. Take
Thanks,
care.
Harold. Thanks, Glenn.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Glenn.
Either or.
Yeah. Take care.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey.